Alright, so we watched / read the first 2 arcs of Sonic IDW. What was the first one? Fallout, and then the second one being The Fate of Dr. Eggman. The Fate of Dr. Eggman was very tough. I really like that. Neo Metal's the GOAT, Jesus Christ. And the whole Eggman Tinker thing was interesting. Very questionable things about Sonic, but we're gonna hold those in. Hopefully it gets better, you know, his dialogue. Saying, why he keeps quoting his own bars, bro? Relax. We're not buying your new EP, bro. I mean, we are. But we already watched the Game Apologists talk about the Fallout arc with the main 4 characters, Sonic, Amy, Tails, Knuckles. But now we're gonna see what his thoughts are and see if he actually goes deeper into the Fate of Dr. Eggman arc, just to see if there's anything that we missed or anything like that, and also see if we can spark a discussion with it as well. So let's go ahead and dive on in.
We've all had this thought challenge placed upon us at one point or the other. Would you take out someone like Hitler as a bait? Did the atrocity...
I keep pressing the wrong one. What am I looking at? So, this is a crazy analogy to start off with, brother. Wait.
I bring this up because the story we're talking about today brings up another moral issue, and it's not too dissimilar from what I'm talking about. And I thought it might help to give you some real-world context to help you better understand what I'm getting at. Maybe it wasn't super appropriate of me to preface this story with, you know, talking about the worst human beings in all of history, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's get into it. And obviously, full spoilers ahead, so buckle in. Our story begins with Sonic running around with SBO,
we already
one of the
watched
members
it.
of the Chaotix Detective Agency. They're looping around in a nondescript Sonic-esque environment. They're having a friendly chat while spinning around in the sky.
In fact, you know, I'm really gonna look at these panels now because the dubs kind of go through them a bit fast. Boy, Sega, if y'all don't look at this panel and be like, oh, like the not Drake meme, slopes, curbs, momentum.
Nondescript Sonic.
Have I seen the Sonic Mega Man crossover comics? No, I have not.
Spinning around in the sky, wrecking robots, and SBO just casually drops, oh yeah, we know where Eggman is. And keep in mind, the dude has been missing since the end of the big ol' war from Sonic Forces. Sonic asks why this stupid reptile had buried the lead, and poor little SBO's just like, I just wanted you to know how hard we worked. Oh, you poor little purple people eater. And all that work didn't really even matter. They were actually tipped off to his location. So Sonic and SBO speed along, and eventually they get to a town where they are greeted by the child insect known as Charmy. Sorry, any residual Archie fans who was hoping he would still be brain damaged. Yeah, we're gonna...
He's brain damaged? What the did that just happen? Or like...
Anyway, Charmy greets Sonic and firmly establishes that yes, he is a child, and then brings out not Eggman, and no, not Robotnik either, but instead Mr. Tinker. I mean, yes, it is Eggman, but apparently the dude has completely lost his memory and is now super nice and helps build and fix things. And Sonic responds appropriately. Yeah, I don't blame him for calling BS on this one either.
Yeah,
obviously,
like right here, it's like, okay, I'm not buying it. What's going on here?
He's up to something, right? This is clearly a stupid ruse. But according to Vector, this crocodile man with headphones, they've thoroughly interrogated and observed this guy for like days now. And as far as they can tell, this is legit. And later on, the comic tries to throw us for a loop by bringing in some patrolling badniks, and Sonic assumes that this is probably like a rescue party or something for Eggman. But he sees Eggman cower away from these things when they hear they're going to be showing up, and their numbers really aren't enough to be any sort of threat. They didn't even look like they were trying to look for any sort of village or anything like that. They're out and about doing something else. Right. So the entire issue basically throws all the different scenarios at us that would potentially show Eggman for his true colors, but unfortunately for Sonic, he doesn't get an easy answer. It'd be one thing if Eggman was faking it, but by every account, that is just not the case. Tinker has zero recollection of his former life. And once again, we circle back to the real-world horror I was alluding to at the beginning. This isn't a baby who has yet to commit atrocities. This man already has committed these crimes, like on a horrific global scale, and has done it over and over. Comic even shows you little flashbacks to previous games where he's nearly destroyed like the planet and, you know, time, but that person, or at least that persona, is gone. And once the mind is free from this hatred, not free of those memories, someone else has emerged. One with the same smarts, the same talents, the same skills, but also with a conscience.
Like he's effectively a different person because he has no memory of what he did. So it's like, okay, do we still be like, hey, you gotta stand trial, do this and that and the third or whatever, right? You gotta pay for your crimes. he doesn't even know who the fuck he is.
Tinker is a decent guy, and he's using his skills to better the lives of the people in this town. And when you're not giving it out like a faked personality, you need to ask yourself, are you still justified in punishing what is essentially a good person? Can this new personality excuse all of the past crimes committed? Does it even matter when this new persona has no idea of any of the things that happened in the past? This is important because if you do take him out, are you truly morally in the right? Is this really justice anymore, or is it simply revenge? Now, I don't know about you, but when compared to real-world monsters, my immediate reaction was, nope, doesn't matter. Dude's gotta go. He does not get a happy ending. Don't give him a chance to turn back into his evil ways. I'm sorry, but we'll just have to live with this on our conscience. Smoke this sucker. But this is not gonna be an easy thing for Sonic to do. I also love when Sonic starts listing off Eggman's death machines, and it all just sounds like stupid nonsense. That was just
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If the said person that he brought up in the beginning, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, probably would be like just like Rhodey in Endgame. But it's definitely like, okay, are you in the right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't take the moral high ground for that. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's also like, hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Joke. I love it. The village elder even chimes in, pointing out that regardless of the bad that he did in the past, that is not the same person who showed up in their town. Tinker was put into jail only for the elder to find out he broke out and only to fix the door. And apparently he's been here for a while, helping out with any project, regardless of the size. And the town is better for it. They all love and trust this guy. The elder sums it up thusly. He'd prefer to see this man, who is completely different from the one he was before, use his skills to better the community, rather than rot away in a jail cell, never understanding what he did wrong, and just left to do nothing. And after the badniks, after talking with everybody, Sonic has seen and heard enough. He agrees. Tinker is not the same as Eggman, and it looks like that nasty boy might be gone for good. Then they all...
like, that's cool. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I do like that. I feel like, because Sonic, you can see Sonic struggling to be like, okay, this isn't like an easy answer for me, right? Which, I feel like Sonic would. I feel like the order of events here could have been done a little bit better, I feel like, to play more to, like, Sonic's character. Especially when Shadow gets into the fray, like, you're acting like you didn't have this struggle 2 minutes ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you're vouching for him and stuff. Like, that shit just don't make sense to me.
I'll have a hearty sitcom laugh. And then Tinker mentions to Sonic that he hopes he'll stop by once Eggman Land is complete, which, raises some red flags. And Shadow seems to agree. Yep, the issue ends with Shadow and Rouge showing up on the scene, and, oh, goodness gracious, they don't even care anymore. Good golly, Tracy, what are you doing? Shadow is just not having any of this feel-good garbage. Eggman has committed atrocity after atrocity. It's time for him to go. Sonic disagrees, and the comic then gives us an excuse to watch another fight between Sonic and Shadow.
Which I liked indeed. That was great. That was fire.
Rouge also lets the Chaotix know that she was the one who actually tipped them off about Eggman's location, proving that she is the better detective, but, then again, she is a bat. She did this to give the boys enough time to get to town to assess the situation and come to the conclusion that Tinker and Eggman are not the same person. Meanwhile,
okay, so like, what is Rouge's allegiance? Is it still Gun? Because why is she snooping around? You know what I'm saying? It gotta be Gun, right? Here's the biggest thing with how they're doing this shit, right? Now, you want to have little Sonic-like animals, like, doing stuff, whatever, cool. I'm fine with that. But they should live alongside the humans, sure, right? So where the fuck are the humans? Eggman's taking over the fucking world. Where's Gun? I'm under the impression, because they didn't tell me Gun. She didn't even say anything about Gun here, so I'm assuming they just don't exist. So what is she doing? Why is she snooping around? She's a thief. I'm confused about that part. Like, I'm not like a big lore head when it comes to a lot of this stuff, but it's like when you try hard to make things fit into your lore, then I start asking questions, and then when it's not done well, then it's like, okay, what the fuck? They built it on Tails Tube. Oh fucking hell, Tails Tube. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Sonic and Shadow are, maybe it's fighting. It just looks more like a power walk together to work out their frustrations.
Well,
Sonic is actually trying to remind Shadow of all the times Eggy was actually helpful, giving the reader a little more lore to help flesh out the world and remind...
You don't need that, If that's what this was for, I'm good.
us more of Sonic game shenanigans. So even if you've not played the games, you do have references to them. But eventually, Sonic trips over an exposed root and stumbles. I can't help but wonder how often this happens to Sonic, because that tree just messed up his whole day, and the dude was just jogging on the side of a mountain like a few panels ago. I mean, I guess that explains the lack of shoelaces anyway. Shadow then uses this opportunity to pin Sonic against the tree, demanding to know how he can even go over easy on the Eggman after everything he's done. Somebody give me a high five for that egg pun. That was good, right? That was good. Sega, hire me for your scripts, man. I got egg jokes for days. So yes, this seems to be what is riling Shadow up. He does not understand why Sonic can be so lenient in this situation.
And then right here, I like this dialogue here. Just the fluff in between with the vouching for him just doesn't seem right.
When all Eggman has ever tried to do is kill the guy. Oh, Shadow, you do care. I mean, I guess Ian is known for dropping hints at relationships after all. Sonic reminds Shadow that he, at one point, also attempted to kill Sonic and destroy the world. I mean, I don't know if that's entirely fair to compare the two, especially considering that Eggman has tried over and over again to conquer the world, and
it's 1000% a fair comparison. It's a great rebuttal. Nigga, you tried to doom us all. You was trying to blow up the Earth.
I mean, for a while he did, and also, again, demolished time. But
Shadow
sees his point. He was given a second chance. Why shouldn't Tinker? That's probably because Tinker is a completely different identity that came about by amnesia, and Shadow had to make the conscious choice to change his ways, but fine, whatever. The conflict is over, and it dawns on Shadow that Sonic was stalling him from... I don't know. I guess he was just trying to cool him off or something. I don't know why Shadow was shocked about this.
I don't know. Yeah, this was weird, because I was like, what's happening? And he just went back and was like, show me Eggman. Like, what?
We're eventually going to get back to Tinker at some... where is he going to go? Well, whatever. Shadow teleports his way back to town and demands to see this Eggman land Tinker was talking about. And it turns out that it's actually just a cute little theme park based off Badniks. Or maybe just the Badnik husks, I guess? I don't know. Doesn't really matter either way. It seems that Shadow is appeased. Okay, now everyone's cooled off. Tinker is not really sure what the big fuss was over just a silly name. And well done, Ian. I see what you did there. And Sonic actually asks where the name even came from, and Tinker just says it just came to him, which does give Sonic a little cause for concern. Is this potentially alluding to his memories coming back? It's hard to tell, but Sonic's willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now that everybody's hunky-dory, Sonic will pop by every now and again to check in on Tinker, and everyone agrees to just leave him be. The end. Oh, and then it turns out that the actual mastermind behind everything is a different Eggman. Oh, comics, you're so crazy. These cliffhangers are just, so excited. Okay, so let's talk about the Tinker story for now. These two comics did something a little bit different. We still get to see Sonic fighting robots with some more buddies. We get some inkling of their personality.
I love the team-ups. The team-ups are so good, chat. They're so good. They're like, just seeing the team-up attacks too. Beautiful.
Amazing. And dynamic, as well as some of their abilities when they're investigating the Imperial City looking for signs of Eggman. Rouge is back and once again showing she is playing multiple angles at any given time and always going in for the long con with any situation, but her heart is in the right place.
I do like what they're doing with Rouge. And just how they're portraying her, for sure.
Of Eggman's whereabouts long before anybody else. Knew that it was only a matter of time before Shadow caught wind, and to help mitigate damage, got the info down the pipeline to the Chaotix, who would then bring it over to Sonic to help give them time to build up a case for Tinker's innocence. I mean, that's kind of convoluted when you think about it, but it's fine. It at least displays what these characters are all about. We also pretty thoroughly define Shadow's role in this comic. While he has grown
Shadow
into his own character, the games have always
Sonic
been a little bit loosey-goosey with his interpretation, especially since, they kind of played out his entire arc in Sonic Adventure 2. And as you will see later on in this comic, fans feel he gets a little bit too Vegeta at times. But for this story specifically, I like this Shadow just fine. Once his arc was completed in the games, there was very little reason for him to fight Sonic, which is a problem when the entire purpose of a Dark Mirror character is to, fight the hero. And I know that statement is going to invite so much ire from Shadow fans, so by all means leave your essays down in the comments. But however you feel about it, that's what his character was designed to be, and, that's what Sega keeps trying to use him for, as sloppily as they do it. And it...
See, I was gonna get into it, but then he brings that up. Yes, Shadow's original creation was indeed a dark Sonic, you know what I'm saying? A dark mirror to him, right? And of course, it is true. That's what a dark mirror is supposed to do. They just fight, you fight. It's just how it is. But back in my day, Sonic as a franchise was always known for not being like everything else. You know what I'm saying? So rating expectations. You think, okay, this is gonna be a certain way, and then it's actually, no, it's different. Shadow isn't like that. He is actually a hero. He's not just the darker half of Sonic or whatever, right? No, that's what it looks like, but it's different. From the very creation of Sonic, the goal of Sega was to be different from Mario. Doing what Nintendo type shit, right? That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it so good. It's not following like all these trends of how you make characters and do all this stuff when it comes to fucking cartoonish style gaming characters or whatever, right? Like we're not following the norm here. And I feel like they lost their way with that. Like they're just, because they had all their failures. It's like, okay, we're gonna have to just comply here, which is lame as fuck. It's lame. And now I'm also seeing things. It was like, okay, I'm seeing how they're writing Sonic. See how they're kind of trying to do it. They're keeping the same character traits that he has, but they're trying to write him as like a MC cliche, like main character of a comic book, like type beat. Generic superhero comic book main character. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing hints in that, and I hope it doesn't go that way. And y'all know me though. I view Sonic as like a hero. He is like a heroic figure for sure. But you know what? This is gonna be a perfect time. I need to bring this back up. Definitely Sonic villains. This I love this shit. Sonic is at the end of the day, he's not trying to be a hero. It's not like, yeah, my goal is to save people, to be a hero, to do this, that, and the third, or whatnot, right? It's more so like who Sonic is what actually saves people instead of just his actions. The free-flowing nature of him, always going with the wind, and the words that he says to people helps them change. It helps them like free themselves from their own like oppressions or whatever, right? I feel like you get that kind of vibe here a lot. The way he like interacts with these humans here, like this man is going through it right now. Like what the fuck's going on? Kid sees him. She has a Sonic plushie and everything. Shows it to him. Type beat. Like, I'm Sonic. No matter what, I'm gonna tackle whatever it is with a smile on my face. That is why people look up to him. I won't explain this right, but it's like, it's a loaded topic. You get some more shit right here. This is some Spider-Man ass shit. Nigga taking picture with fucking civilians. Sonic the Hedgehog. That's some Sonic ass shit, bro. It's like it's a certain way that you have to do it to where like it plays to his character, and it's not like too much on the he's a hero type beat. Because being a hero isn't like what drives his character, you know? I just want to show that because I love this fucking video right here, this trailer. Jesus Christ. It's different though. It's what, back to the original topic, it's what makes Sonic unique. And I feel like that's the charm of his character, why he sticks out. It's just not as simple as like, yeah, like he's a good guy, right? It's deeper than that. Look at Sonic in the Black Knight. Prime example. He's technically the bad guy. He's actively trying to stop someone who is trying to make a world live forever. And he tells, I forgot what her name is. What is it, Merlina or whatever like that? Because you know a war could end at some point, you have to live life to the fullest. Like, that's how I see things. He's not like actively trying to change her either. It's not like, yeah, like I gotta change, I gotta save her from her own thing. Like, no, I'm giving you my point of view. You take it, and then I go about my day. Like, it's just how it is. I'm gonna be myself, and if people see it for what it is and respect it, then they respect it. They go against it, well then, we gonna box.
Does become a problem to give an excuse for Sonic and Shadow to fight when they're on the same page. But in this particular case, when you have such an interesting and complicated moral dilemma before you, I feel like this is a good enough excuse as any to have these two fight each other, and they both react appropriately to their character, in my opinion. This comic gives us a challenging issue that brings a lot of morality into question, and I believe both the characters' motivations here are justified. It's not hard to understand where Shadow is coming from. Doesn't matter what Tinker is now, the countless times he caused chaos as Eggman is enough of an excuse to take him out, regardless of how many different times he changes his name. Sonic still appeals to his better side, reminding him of the importance of redemption, giving those who have caused pain to others a second chance to do right in the world. And Sonic's got some clout, so Shadow, as well as SPO, give him the benefit of the doubt and go with his decision to leave Tinker be.
Which I do like a lot.
It does give us a challenging question, and no, it does not leave us lingering on an answer.
They all respect each other, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all respect, like just based on what they've been through in past titles and whatnot. So I do like this moment right here. I love it, actually.
Sonic makes a decisive choice, and everybody else just falls in line with it. And, you know, maybe kids don't go to dictators when thinking about this stuff, but there's still a good lesson to be learned here, and you really can't have Sonic being a jerk. At the same time, Espio and Shadow aren't exactly being unreasonable here. While Shadow does not tolerate nonsense and does have a bit of an aggressive streak to him, he's still not being one note here. He does cool off and agree to leave Tinker be, even though you can see he clearly doesn't agree with this particular idea. I think the overall message Sonic is trying to send is, not every problem needs to be solved with violence. He ends his feud with Shadow not by beating him into submission. In fact, Sonic is the one at Shadow's mercy, but he still uses reason and compassion to end the conflict. And while I did joke about the running, outside of pinning Shadow to a wall, he doesn't actually attack the guy, just dodges him and eggs him on to help burn off some energy. Maybe it's not fair that the Eggman persona disappeared without anyone getting a chance to take him to task for the crimes he's committed. But in Sonic's eyes, that doesn't mean Tinker should suffer the consequences. He sees him and treats him as a different person. But while this is a good lesson to pass on to a younger audience, it does not go unchallenged. Like I said in a previous video, I feel like this interpretation of Sonic might be a little bit too compassionate. Honestly, I kind of miss him being a little bit of a jerk. The corporate mascot has got to tell kids to wash their...
Yeah, like where's the attitude?
Video. I feel like this interpretation of Sonic might be a little bit too compassionate. Honestly, I kind of miss him being a little bit of a jerk. The corporate mascot has got to tell kids to wash their hands, don't talk to strangers, and if someone touches you in a place or in a way that makes you uncomfortable, that's no good. Lost track here just to meme out a little bit, but my point is, Sonic's gotta be the good guy here. But that does not mean his morality cannot be called into question. Because, well, being as cynical as possible here, I mean, come on, man, you know Robotnik's gonna be back eventually. Regardless of how scrambled his eggs are, they are gonna revert back to the status quo at some point. But also, Shadow and Espio aren't moodier characters just for the sake of it. These guys have seen some real dark stuff, and they're the type of guys who are gonna make tough calls. They aren't gonna waste time talking about their feelings. They see a problem, and they're gonna go for the clear and obvious solution, no matter how brutal it may be. And honestly, that's not a bad lesson either, because as we will find out, they're not entirely wrong here. Really, you can go either way. Sonic's point of view, Shadow's point of view, and while the comic does lead into one side a little bit more than the other, it does not dismiss the other side entirely, which I think is important. So what about you? I presented the story to you, and regardless of what happens next, just put yourself in that position. You have to decide the fate of someone who has done terrible things but has zero memory of it, or of who they were. It's easy enough to say you'd pop them in the face and be done with it, but like, if it were me, having to decide what happens to an actual human being right there in front of me, I honestly don't know what I'd do. This silly, tropey story has a lot more bubbling under the surface to make this goofy narrative work. It's not exactly perfect, but it does a commendable job showing all sides of this touchy argument.
Yeah, okay, dope video for sure. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like, especially like, I don't know, because a lot of like the younger generation could use a character like Sonic with how he was like written way back then. And I feel like you kind of, I don't know, like they could like, I wouldn't recommend Sonic being written like this to like a younger kid, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because I feel like you can get whatever like they're trying to, like, whatever lessons or whatever they're trying to teach here, like you can get that anywhere, you know. And I don't want to feel like that. I hope they actually, like, you know what I'm saying, make it more unique with Sonic's character and the other characters as well. Which so far with the other characters, I'm fucking with it. But that's gonna do it. We are about to go into the Battle for Angel Island arc, and that one has been hyped up, and the build up for it has been kind of crazy. So we're gonna get into that, but you guys are gonna have to wait till next time for sure. But you guys enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. I don't gotta tell you. You're a grown ass man, grown ass woman, grown ass human being. Go follow the Twitch. I will tell you to do that. I'm out. Deuces. Bye.